Eu não entendi a piada.
That's great. That's one of the great things about being on television. You can work while you're sleeping.
O bom da televisão é isso, você trabalha enquanto você está dormindo.
Yeah. You liked that joke, didn't you?
Adoraram a piada, hein?
Now, I wanted to talk about Mark Ritz. Mark Ritz was the guy who played Lester the Rat on the show.
Eu queria falar sobre o Mark Ritz, que fazia o Lester, o rato do show.
And I'm imagining many of you know that he died about 2.5 years ago of
Acho que muitos
cancer.
de vocês sabem que ele faleceu há 2 anos e meio.
And he was somebody who I loved very much. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, if I didn't love the guy, if I didn't really care for him, I wouldn't be talking about him right now.
E ele era uma pessoa muito querida. Eu não estou falando isso por nada. Realmente era uma pessoa que eu gostava muito.
I'd be talking about me.
Não ia passar meu tempo falando dele, falaria de mim.
But Mark was really, really a wonderful man, very sweet man. And he has 2 sons and a daughter. And whenever they were on the set, they were always very affectionate with him. You know, they were always hanging on him and...
Mas ele era realmente uma pessoa muito doce, muito carinhosa, afetiva. Ele tinha 2 filhos e uma menina e uma filha, e eles estavam sempre lá no set. Ele era muito carinhoso com os filhos.
So I think anytime you see a parent whose kids are so physically affectionate with, you know that he's got a really good heart and he's a really good person.
Eu acho que você vê um pai, né, com os filhos tão assim carinhosos com ele, você sabe que é uma pessoa legal.
He also, he was a puppeteer. So we're both puppeteers, which is really weird.
Ele também fazia teatro de marionetes junto comigo, que é muito estranho.
And he was hired to do a puppet on the show. Lester the Rat was originally a puppet on the show.
E na verdade ele foi contratado para fazer uma parte de marionete no show. O Lester ia ser um marionete.
So he showed up to work expecting to do a puppet, and we said, no, actually, you're a guy in a rat suit.
Na verdade, você vai ser um cara usando uma fantasia de rato.
And his reaction was a little like, what? But he went to Harvard University, so he was, yeah. And I used to tease him about it a lot, because I'm jealous. But he was a really terrific performer, and he made it so that we had to be terrific performers too. We, just to be up to his level, I had to really work hard because he was so good at what he did.
Mas ele era realmente uma pessoa fantástica. Ele fez Harvard, a gente ficava com inveja disso nele, e ele era um ator performático muito bom. Ele elevava o trabalho de uma forma que a gente ia atrás para ficar no nível dele.
And the final thing I'd say about Mark was I was very lucky at the end of his life to help care for him in the last, 3 or 4 months or 6 months of his life. And one time, he was very sick and he was in bed and he couldn't get out of bed, and I was making him dinner, and his wife had gone to rehearsal and she was getting a break, and I accidentally locked myself out of the house.
E uma coisa engraçada do Mark, no final da vida dele, eu tive até o privilégio de cuidar dele nos últimos 4, 6 meses antes dele falecer. E uma noite a mulher dele saiu para um ensaio e eu estava fazendo jantar e não sei o que aconteceu, mas eu me tranquei para fora da casa.
So I was really uptight. I mean, really like, oh my God, I'm locked out of the house. And I kept calling her and calling her. Well, when I finally got in touch with her, she thought it was hilarious. And so it worked out okay. But 2 things that Mark said to me. He said, cancer sucks. And I think we all agree about that. And then a couple of weeks before he died, he said, Paul, life is beautiful. And while that may be, somewhat of a cliche, okay, life is beautiful, but when somebody who's dying and, clearly knows he's passing away says life is beautiful, well, that's something that I think it's important for me personally to remember every day, because he taught me something really great, so...
Bom, no episódio da chave eu acabei entrando, deu tudo certo, mas enfim, 2 coisas que o Mark me falou ficaram comigo, né? A primeira, que o câncer é uma droga, e acho que todo mundo concorda com isso. E depois que a vida é bela, que é uma coisa que parece meio clichê, mas na verdade quando uma pessoa que está morrendo fala isso para você, faz uma diferença danada.
So anyway, the last thing I wanted to say is, I hear a lot from people like online or in person, and they will say, like many of you have said to me while I've been here, they'll say, I'm a scientist today because of you, or I teach scientists today because of you, or I'm a nurse because of you, or, you know, I'm a geologist, or whatever it may be.
E a última coisa que eu queria falar é uma coisa que sempre me perguntam online, mesmo nos lugares, aqui já aconteceu isso, as pessoas chegam para mim e falam essa coisa da ciência, né? Eu sou um cientista por causa de você, eu ensino por causa de você, eu sou um geólogo por causa de você, uma enfermeira.
And a lot of people will preface it by saying, you must be really sick of hearing this.
E as pessoas começam geralmente falando, você já deve estar cheio de ouvir isso.
But I must say, I never ever will ever get sick of hearing that.
E eu vou falar uma coisa para vocês, nunca, jamais, em tempo algum, eu vou ficar cheio de ouvir isso.
Thank you. Thank you. So if you guys have some questions, why don't you raise your hand? We have a question here. Yell it out really loud, okay?
Tem que falar alto.
Okay.
Pergunta é se ele conhecia ou tinha ideia da fama que ele tinha no Brasil.
No. And I've been trying to understand why, but I think it's because the show was on prime time, and the only other thing on was the news. And it was on, I think, maybe 5 days a week or something. So we were the only thing on television, so we were popular.
Eu ainda estou tentando saber por quê, mas basicamente o que me falaram é que ele passava no horário das 8, né? A opção era o jornal, então a gente ficou popular.
Yeah, I mean, I also maybe think that something about the spirit of the show came across, you know, the humor and the sensibility, and you know, we really wanted to be that. We wanted to strike people and have people really, you know, dig the show. So I'm glad someone in the world did.
E tem essa coisa do show, né? Do humor, da sensibilidade. Na verdade era isso. A meta do programa era mesmo envolver as pessoas, né? E eu fico feliz que em algum lugar do mundo a gente conseguiu isso.
Yeah, and the rest of Latin America too. There are a lot of people in Latin America and Central America. I mean, the show's been on in China and in Taiwan. Like, a friend of mine came home and said, dude, you're on TV in China. I was like, really? And that was the last time I ever talked about or heard about it. He says, yeah, China. And China's big, I think. But this may be a little bit vulgar to say, but I don't get paid for any of that. I got paid to be on the show, but when you see me on TV, it's not like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I don't get paid because I got screwed. You don't need to translate that. Okay. How about another question?